Hey everyone, Yukon Alley here. Today's episode is about all things gold, from pay dirt to sluicing to cleanups to the result. So every year when you show up in the spring, you never know what you're going to get. It could be thawed, it could be 10 feet deep of snow, or you could have glaciers like this. Normally this creek is about 2 feet wide all year, but this year it chose to cover the entire valley. You can see the ice is it was about 15 to 20 feet thick here, and that is directly covering all our pay dirt that we didn't get thawed from the year previous. So that's always a little depressing when you show up to something like that. And here you can see it's back when we still had Gargamel, and it was halfway covered in ice. Sluice runs were covered, everything was covered, and there's nothing you can do. The tiger torch isn't gonna thaw that, so you have to wait for the sun to do its thing. And here's the creek cutting its way through part of the glacier there. This was in early May. So obviously no sluicing that spring, so what we did was hopped in the equipment and started stripping another area that we had prospected, and luckily it didn't have glaciers on it, so we were able to keep working while we waited for the ground to thaw. And unfortunately that year, this was I think 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, this was June 19th, and there's still that much ice under our pay dirt. We got sick of waiting, so got down there with the hoe and dug her out so we could sluice that ground. And then other years you show up and it looks like this. Water's running everywhere, there's no glaciers anywhere. This was a dream come true. We could sluice basically right away as soon as we got there, end of April. That year before though, we were quite upset and tired and depressed, and so we left the cleanup sitting there. It was frozen, and we looked in the box when we were done, in the sluice box, and we thought, oh, there's nothing there, let's just go home. Showed up that spring and look at this. So obviously we ripped those mats out right away and ran back to camp, ran them through our little testing keen there. So that was the result of that year. You just never know at the end of the year. You're so tired and you just go, oh, forget it, we'll look at it in the spring, there's nothing there. But it's actually not that bad. Here I am after we did the cleanup, having a little celebration, looking at it, because I was quite surprised. But that's the thing, that's what I'm saying. You never know what you're going to get when you show up at the beginning of the year for your pay dirt and what happens. So obviously I took that. It was pretty fine, so we couldn't clean it as well as I'd like to. So we took it to Don the Gold Cleaner, and here he is finishing the job off for us. Gets it super clean so there's no sand in there. Meanwhile, my buddy Darren, the gold buyer, had called me and said, Allie, there's a sale on beer at the liquor store. They had water damage. So what did I do? I ran to the liquor store and bought what they had, because that's what you do when you get gold in the spring. You go to town and buy beer and parts. So that was fun. Next up here, I'm going to show you what our best pay dirt was this, and these are all through different years, but as you can see, this wood in the dump truck here, that's all cribbing from shafts. So we started digging that up and we're like, oh man, those guys were working in there pretty good. So I was a little worried when we were hauling it down to the plant, because I thought, oh, well, maybe they didn't get it all, because you can see the bedrock's pretty nice there. It's a nice material to run through, and there's shafts sticking out everywhere, and we're digging them all up. So we sluiced for 10-12 hours I think, and that was the result. So obviously they didn't get it all. They did miss a few spots, so I was pretty happy with that, I can tell you. So we kept along following those shafts along there, and yeah, that's another one of the cleanups. I always like to show gold when you got it. Then the bedrock turned into this. Look at these rocks. I swear they were the size of smart cars. They were just massive. They destroyed our excavator buckets trying to dig down in there. But I tell you, when you find bedrock like that and you're on the pay streak, it can have some pretty interesting results. And the old timers, they couldn't get down into there for obvious reasons. I mean, look at the size of that rock. So when we ran some of that dirt through, we ended up with you know, quite a bit of this. And I gotta say, there's nothing better than running over to the sluice mats when you've sluiced a day in that bedrock and finding those laying all over the place. So yeah, we had quite a few cleanups from there, and there we are. I call this the rubber boot happy dance, because when you can rinse the mats down and you see that in your sluice runs, I call that a really good day. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So yeah, that was a really good year. Not all of them are like that, obviously. This was probably our best year, and that was a, you know, really amazing, but it doesn't happen every year. It's a hit and miss thing, especially when you're dealing with old timers and a narrow pay streak, and you name it. Somebody's been there before, but hey, I show gold when I see gold. So now on to last year. You guys might remember this if you've been watching any of my previous videos, but I just wanted to show our pay dirt. We moved the plant quite close to where we were working, so we were able to just hop in the 10 and we had it down to the pay dirt level. So we're just pushing dirt right up to the plant so that the excavator can grab it and put it through. And that's my favorite way to mine, is having the trommel close to your pay dirt, so that you can just do this and have hours worth of pay dirt right at, you know, your fingertips. You don't have to haul dirt with the dump truck. So a lot of you asked for me to do sluicing videos, and you wanted to hear the trommel running, so I'm going to shut up here for a few minutes and let you watch sluicing. But I really can't shut up for that long. I'm sorry. I just need to tell you. So we're down to pay dirt here. And on the hillside, that's where we stacked all the overburden, all the frozen dirt. Like, we dug down. I think that area, we probably had to strip off 15 feet of overburden and gravel before we got down to pay dirt level. But what we do with the tailings for reclamation purposes, the tailings that come off the end of the conveyor, see how we have that nice stack of dirt on the hillside? You can pull that over top, and then all of a sudden, by next year, you will have all kinds of willow trees, plants. It wouldn't, by the end of the next year, it barely looks touched. So that's kind of how we like to do, why we stack things on the hillside too. It's for reclamation purposes and to keep everything neat and tidy in your work area. But yeah, here we are again, sluicing. I call any day a good day when you have that trommel running, I'll tell you that. we like to do our cleanups right at the plant. So we bring a Honda pump down and hook water up to it, and we take all the riffles off and clean the mats one by one. Right at the plant there, we have a little lip at the end, so we can beat the mats and rinse it down with a hose, and then we scoop it up and put it in 5-gallon pails, what you would call the cons, I guess, concentrate. So yeah, there we are, just rinsing everything and beating the mats and putting the pails aside to take back and run through the jig. Thomas and Alina, and Dave's doing maintenance, doing the daily maintenance on the trommel while we do the cleanup. Everyone has their job. And then we put the mats back together so they're good to go for the next shift. And there's another photo of what our cons look like when you rinse it down. And that's how we haul it back to our gold cleaning place. We put it in the quad with the trailer. All the buckets are secured in there, one to another, and us security people following them. And there we are jigging. Run the cons through the jig. And then after that, you pan it out. And hopefully you end up with something like that. Not every day is like that, not every week is like that. But when you have good days like that, you take photos, don't ya? Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you have a great night and stay tuned for the next episode. Cheers.